This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC. I have the pleasure of having a Chicagoan who is an entrepreneur and now turned into a strategic consultant. You're going to want to talk to Maura after you listen to these words of wisdom. We are excited to have her on the show. She's been in the studio sector for many years. We worked together for a short period of time, and I'm happy to have you on the show. So welcome to your first Halo Talks.
Thanks, Pete. Great to be here.
Awesome. So you're a Michigan grad, that's correct?
I am. Yeah.
You've got a lot of Go Blue all over our firm and some of our clients. So maybe talk about your background and your trajectory. What got you into the industry, successful exit at the end of that time, and now you're basically serving other people.
Yeah, sure. Gosh, it's funny. When you mention Michigan, I think about, I went to college. I mean, I'll go way back. I went to college and discovered that I just wanted to take classes that I was interested in without any intention. And really, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, except I knew I wanted to make money. So right out of college, I joined a sales job in technology sales. And then, by the time I was 24, I was making six figures, which was amazing. And I then had this epiphany that it wasn't purpose driven. I wasn't really excited about what I was doing, even though I was making a lot of money. So that kind of got me into a different journey, a new purpose, where I discovered yoga. And I couldn't wait to go to yoga every single day, every single night. And my day was planned around this oasis. So I just kind of put it out there as a vision. What would happen if I quit this lucrative job and gave it all up and started teaching yoga and building yoga studios. So
when you went down that path, was there something missing with the yoga studio that you attended? Did you think that you could do it better? Or did you just see that there was an opportunity because there was plenty of white space that you could move into? Or did you do a lot of research and say, hey, over the next 10 years, I know hot yoga is going to be, the next frontier?
You know what? None of the above. I was very green and just open-minded. And I actually just remember feeling this amazing feeling. And I was like, I want to be a part of this feeling on the giver's end versus just the receiving end. And so I approached who then became my business partners. And I approached them and I said, do you guys want to open up more yoga studios together? They said, yes, you might be the one. Let's go into business together. So that's how it happened. My home studios, they had two at the time. They then became my business partners moving forward.
Gotcha. So 105F, that was already established when you got involved?
It was, yeah. They founded it in 2001. I approached them in about 2005. Yeah.
So at that point, with them kind of welcoming you in to their beloved startup and a brand that they created, what do you think some of the things that you added to the business model, or maybe things that they weren't addressing to optimize that? Because there are a lot of people that are listening to this podcast that are in a finance job, are looking to get involved in the Halo sector, and maybe they need to hear a pitch or an aha moment of, hey, this is what I could do to help these people optimize, because they're kind of, running this studio and not really looking outside of that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of synergy and, opening in the universe, just being open-minded and also having the confidence to just say like, hey, I don't know. I didn't know what I could give just yet. I knew that I had I knew that I was driven and motivated and passionate, but I didn't know what I didn't know just yet. So I approached them, right? Over the years, though, what I did do was refine and cultivate what I was able to provide. Ultimately, we were very blessed because we were one of the only, there was one other hot yoga studio that opened up in 2001 in Chicago, in the whole Chicagoland. And so it was us and them, and that's not much competition. Hot yoga was brand new back then. In 2010, around 2000, maybe maybe a little bit before that. I can't remember the dates. Core Power kind of took the nation, and hot yoga really started to proliferate all over the place. But before then, we were just a destination place, and we really didn't need to do much marketing. We didn't even have a sign back then. People found us as a destination. But once the competition with boutique fitness and the halo sector started to really boom, there were lots of options, and we didn't have systems. So I actually hired a coach around 2018. I mean, it took that long, 2018, to help us refine our marketing, our messaging, our sales, our systems, our packages, so that it was really fine tuned just in time, really before COVID.
Right. So from a standpoint of you joining two other partners, you had two studios that went to three studios. If you kind of take a look at a lot of different studio concepts, there might not be enough cash flow coming from the studios to have a corporate overhead to have quote unquote, three executives or three professionals.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and I experienced this in some other businesses that we were in the quick serve restaurant market, where we said, look, you kind of need five in order to pay everyone what you wanted, as a market salary. So how did you work through that? As question one.
I mean, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
I can make it sound really glamorous, but I was uh, I was blessed enough that I was able to bring some capital in to help create a third studio. And that was the intention, to open up a third studio. And from there, again, it was in a market that, there weren't any hot yoga studios around. But over time, we didn't seek outside capital. But we took trims. We had to cut expenses at one point before we really did refine our systems. And I mean, we made it work. I'm with you though. Three studios is kind of that midpoint. It's either go big or go small. But we actually did make it work, and it's still around. It's great.
Yeah. So, there's been some, companies that have gone through it and done acquisitions in the yoga sector. Yoga Works was trying to buy up yoga studios and kind of put them under one brand. I think there was somewhat of a revolt because these were kind of neighborhood studios and they didn't want to be part of a big corporation, with new rules and policies. So how did the market benefit from you being there? And, when Core Power came in or, a larger brand, you're kind of like the equivalent of, this is the restaurant that started here. We're loyal to it. We've been there. We actually don't want brands that are coming in and try to take some of our local businesses and hurting them. So how did you kind of brand or message to the community that you had that said, look, we've got the same, hot yoga, system in place. We've got instructors that have been here. You're part of a community.
Right.
Don't leave us because you're not going to gain anything by it. You'll probably come back anyway.
Right. And you know what? You hit the nail on the head. I think the community, well, it's different. When I reflect back now, I think about it differently as when I was in it. And I was younger then too, of course, and less experienced. But when I was in it, I was afraid of the competition. My partners and I were afraid of the competition, and we were trying to, keep everybody close to us and outperform them and outsmart the competition. When I think about it now, and when I share this with my clients now, it's like, let's just zoom way out high level. We're all doing good things. None of this is bad. We're just bringing awareness of like how good we can all feel. So just keeping that as our North Star kind of keeps the trajectory moving forward.
Gotcha.
Beyond that, I actually think that when, people find their home, and our teachers, are very experienced, very passionate, very, skilled at what they do. And I'm not disparaging any other types of yoga studios. You know, we all have our different niche or different program. If our clients, our students go to a different yoga studio and that resonates with them, fine. That's okay too. But what we did find is, you know, a lot of students would start there and come over to us and kind of stay stuck with us. So we were their vibe. I think
Right.
that the pie isn't finite. It just gets bigger and bigger, and there's more pieces of pie for everybody.
Yeah. So we were just going through a case study with some of our interns, and we kind of broke it down and say, look, there are two things you can do on revenue. You can bring in more volume, or you can focus on a higher price. That's
Yeah.
basically the equation.
Right.
So as you look at the yoga market and you see, let's say, like a solid core, you know, at a $34 per class, I think they're doing some membership packages now. Orange Theory is kind of brilliant when you think about that. You know, unlimited memberships are limited, so they only have 8
Yeah.
classes that you could get
Yeah.
per month, which allows them to bring in 800 members instead
Yeah.
of an average studio at like 300 members. So either looking back or looking forward, you know, if I was a studio and I came to you and said, you know, help me with figuring out what my pricing structure
Yeah.
should be, also honing in on the fact that this is their home. They should be investing in their home. And the more money you can pay me, it's going to go back into the studios. It's going to train more instructors. And we're going to open up another location. So they're basically helping you build the business by paying you, you know, an extra 10 or 20, you know, dollars or whatever the differential is to basically build more homes that they love.
Yeah.
So how do you
I
think
think
about pricing, and how do you think about volume and membership, you know, constructs?
Sure. Yeah. That's one of my favorite things to do is come up with, you know, the pricing structures based on capacities and you know, trying to figure out what the right mix is with the memberships. Introducing memberships or really leaning into memberships was revolutionary for us. We were very reactive versus proactive. And the educational piece, like you hit on, Pete, was really helpful. And not only that, like, you know, educating them as to why this membership is helpful for them. It's going to make them feel great. And, you know, all of the things that, you know, hit their goals, their lifestyle, their budget. But then also to us, hey, you're being loyal to us. We're going to offer you a better deal, you know, for whatever it is that you participated. And we came up with different custom memberships. We came up with a program that was literally hitting every single person and having a personal conversation with what their goals, their lifestyle, their budget was, and catering a membership to them. If they're training for the Ironman, they're not going to come in 5 days a week. And that's okay. This is part of their lifestyle. And we want to create a membership, a long-term lifestyle, you know, activity for them that they want to continue to come back to. So we did design our pricing for high volume and high touch, and you know, and it worked out. So I do love a good membership and custom membership for sure.
As you see the number of choices that members can track into, whether it's a class pass or gym pass, or you know, cities that have their own aggregation of
Yeah.
studios. Um, it can never kind of starts off with like, what are you trying to achieve? And let me get you into our hot yoga program. However, if you want to put on muscle mass and you want to do, you know, more cardio, you know, let me actually prescribe for you. Okay,
Yeah.
I want you to studio here 3 days a week. I want you to do workout recovery at this location that we're affiliated with. I want you to do 1 or 2 hit classes, you know, a week as well, because this is basically, I'm giving you a prescription
Yeah.
that we're not here to fill every part of that.
Right.
Um, so do you think there's potentially an evolution in the industry where, you know, Exponential obviously has multiple brands. They're
Mhm.
now trying to have people stay within the umbrella.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's to the point yet where, you know, they're saying do this class 2 days a week. If you want to do that, you know, get these results. Here's how we're going to do that. And they're all within the Expo brand. Or if ClassPass comes and basically says, hey, let me curate a program instead of you going on and just, you know, buying credits and, you know, hopping around like a bar hop. let me actually
right,
get you the results that you want.
right.
So I feel like there's potentially a big opportunity to basically get someone on a 60-day, 90-day, or year plan, and have these studios kind of collaborate and say, we'll take these people twice a week, you take them twice a week, and now you've got people that aren't coming, so you've got more capacity to sell memberships.
I think it's a brilliant idea. I mean, we explored that way back when. Again, I can't remember my years, but I think probably around the early 2010s, partnering up with a CrossFit gym, and trying to get into that. It takes a lot of, I mean, it takes a lot of logistics, a lot of planning, and a lot of commitment on both ends. I think nowadays a lot of us are looking for instant gratification, and we're fickle and we don't keep our commitments, and I can, sit on my soapbox and talk all about this. So just really having the dedicated person who is like, yes, I'll do whatever you say I'm going to do. And the person who's knowledgeable, who knows all of the different options out there. I look forward to that day when that comes.
Yeah. So I was at on a panel several months ago, and there was a lot of AI companies there and software to do certain
Yep.
things. Retention. We're going to tell you which members are most likely to cancel. I think that's probably what hasn't shown up in 90 days. Not sure what the science is behind that. But I thought of it and I said, in this industry, you can't really have artificial intelligence until you have intelligence.
Right.
So,
Right.
when you think about your consulting role now, to be able to slice and dice, not, like this is like a soccer mom or this is like, weekend warrior. Let's just say Pete Moore as a person. You don't have to, put me in a bucket because there's only 300 people. Everyone should have their own bucket.
Yeah.
So do you see maybe people finally understanding that you have to actually fill your database in order to, mine your database? And how would you potentially help them, do that? Or is that, on the more granular level?
Okay, wait. So rephrase this. So fill my database. Are we talking in the context of the yoga
Talking about the
studios? Or are we
context
talking
of like
about
what motivates Pete more. I used to be a little chubby as a kid. So I used to have to buy elastic jeans at Sears. That would be a way to understand what might motivate me.
I hear what you're
I've got
saying.
a wedding coming up in 6 months. So you'd know that, and then you'd help me get
Yeah,
to a
yeah.
plan.
So,
That my cousin's an event planner. So let's get her into our membership, and she can tell us who's trying to lose weight or who's trying to get fit, for certain events.
got
So I'm
it.
trying to think about all the things that you should know about a
Mm-hmm.
member and their ecosystem,
Yeah.
and then use that to figure out what to do with it. Versus just say AI this, AI that. What do you AI?
Yeah, no. Let's cut straight to the chase. I mean, this also assumes that people know themselves and are open and vulnerable to share more
That's a
about
great point.
themselves.
That is a great
But
point.
but one of my favorite things to do is, upon coming into any type of program, is to give them a survey and to talk about, like, where are you right now and where do you want to go, and think about the best you've ever felt in your life. What were you doing at that time? And how did you feel? Really talking about the feelings, about feeling your best. And then having them even prescribe their own best program. How often do you think you're going to want to come, and what motivates you? Do you like the morning? Do you like the evening? Do you like the afternoon? Do you like the weekends? What else are you doing? Just having them and giving them, a form that helps them understand, oh yeah, let me think about this. Let me talk about this, and fill it out, and then actually give it to them so that they can come back and be like, oh yeah, I did say all of that. And I think that's really powerful to set your intention of, what it is that you want. And then it's like, great, you just said what you want. Let me help you get there. Let's do this.
So talk about, you kind of became an entrepreneur, going into 105F.
Yeah.
Now that was successfully sold. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It is
Yeah.
very hard to sell any business. I've been doing this 25 years. There's not always a meeting point between the bid and ask on the price or any of the other terms. from a standpoint of all the learnings you have, give us an ideal type of client under your cultivate advisors role. Who are you seeking out? Who is seeking you out? And make this as almost a pitch to, if you're having these issues, I'm the person you call.
Yeah. So, first and foremost, I need to work with somebody who is open and willing to learn and also willing to roll up their sleeves and do the work. I'm not here just to, wave a magic wand and say, poof, everything's better. Usually people seek me out when they have maybe something that's uncomfortable that's going on, and I can help see, from a different lens, like, oh, I can help you there. I consider myself a generalist. So I have, you know, a lot of acumen in financials, starting with the financials, but then the sales and marketing. I love recruiting and leadership and building teams. So all of these things and productivity, all of these things work harmoniously together. And if I see a need, I can poke a hole and be like, this needs to be tightened up. They have to be hungry to learn. Ideally, they have a goal, a vision. Some of that is exit. Sometimes they're not quite there yet, where they're not even thinking about the exit, but I want to plant that seed so that they know, like, hey, let's do this on our terms. The last thing we want to do is close down because, we throw in the towel. So let's do this on our terms. Let's come up with a value. I can help you understand what the value is of your business. And then let's enjoy the journey along the way. This doesn't have to be like, life is meant to be enjoyed. So let me be a player to help you enjoy your life and have a little bit more control and a sounding board along the way.
Gotcha. Is there a specific size that you would start with, or if somebody's got one studio or if they got 20, what do you think the ideal client is based on what I've seen? Is a lot of one or two studio operators. They're having issues. They probably don't have money to pay for someone
Right.
like you. You can only do so much pro bono work,
Yeah.
in your day. So how do you approach that? How do you say, look, I'd love to help you, but we've got a business model too.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm a true believer that, like, I'm going to offer and have a conversation with anybody, because I want everybody to succeed. But in terms of like actual, like, working together, rolling up our sleeves month over month, there's other opportunities. I would say, for me, having at least 2 studios, 3 studios probably is the right fit. I have a couple clients that are, one studio, and they're crushing it. They are amazing. So typically when they hit the $500,000 revenue mark, that's like the right point to start working with me. But other than that, if there are some gaps, and sometimes we realize we don't know everything. My company, Cultivate Advisors, we actually have a boot camp. It's called the 3X. So it just kind of skills you up in all of these different areas. And that way you are then on your way to then work one-on-one with an advisor like myself.
Great. So in closing here, you have any quotes that you live by, or things that you say that people said, oh, that she tells us that all the time. Obviously I'm getting a feel for, enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Don't wait to enjoy life. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs feel so much pressure and stress that, it's like a roller coaster nonstop, and they just want to
Yeah.
get off at some point.
Guess
So
what? It's
you got
not going
anything
to
good?
end.
Yeah.
Enjoy
You
the
got a good
journey.
quote for us?
I would say another one that I really, and I paraphrase it, but another one that I live by is Maya Angelou, her quote, we do the best we can with what we know. And when we know better, we do better. So, just trusting as you're on this journey, enjoying the journey, we're always working with people along the way. Trust that they're doing the best that they can too, right where they are right now, and realize that for yourself as well, because sometimes we get really hard on ourselves, and just if we can remind ourselves, like, I'm doing the best that I can and I'm trying, I think that helps keep the morale high.
That's great. So good to see you again. Congrats on the success.
Thank you.
Thanks
Great
for
to be here.
moving to the advisor role as we're in, and spreading the knowledge, keeping people on the guardrails, and telling them a story of, hey, this is why you might not want to do this, or hey, that's a great idea, but so hit up Maura. She'll be all of her information will be in the show notes. welcome to the advisory side. Wave the Halo flag with us. And it's all about unit economics. So, Maura will help you get that prototype, and then the prototype will then be replicated. And that's what investors want to hear and see. So great to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks, Pete.